Hello, my name is Kelly Coleman. I am a 7th grade literacy teacher at Hadley Junior High in Glen Ellen District 41, and I'd like to share with you how I use debate to teach argumentative writing to my students. As a resource, I use the article Developing Real-World Intelligence, Teaching Argumentative Writing Through Debate by Randy Dixon. Randy Dixon's article shows how she, as an English teacher, has used debate in her classes to teach students argumentative writing because she feels that in learning about argument and preparing debates, students develop critical thinking skills, such as the ability to consider different viewpoints, to form and defend a viewpoint, and to consider and respond to counter-arguments made by their peers. Argumentation and debate are critical components of democracy, Dixon will argue, and research shows that argument is the most significant strategy for helping students develop higher order thinking skills. No other kind of thinking matters more than forming and holding beliefs, or making judgments, or considering opposing views when making decisions in your life. In conjunction with that line of thinking, we see that writing for real purposes and writing for varied and multiple audiences are two important goals of effective writing instruction. And so Dixon kind of combines those lines of thoughts, teaching argument in conjunction with classroom debates. Another resource that I'd like to use in preparing to teach my students to debate is middlesschooldebate.com. This is actually a site meant for competitors, schools that actually prepare students to debate each other competitively, but they have some great resources for teachers, including lesson plans, lesson ideas, graphic organizers for students to use. They outline the rules and the process and the format of conducting a debate, and they even have some resources that are starting points on research of debate topics, and we'll get to that a little bit later. They start off by teaching students what is an argument. Students may remember this from their childhood and think that this is what an argument is. So while that may sound like many arguments that our students have, that's not where this website will take us. A great quote from the website: "Arguments are the driving force of everything, from science to politics." The article points out that in democratic societies, argument is critical, that citizens or their elected representatives argue all the time about how to make the best policy that represents the best interests of all of the people in that society. And this means that if you don't know how to make an effective argument, you may be left behind or left out of the democratic process. You need to be able to advocate on behalf of your interests or the interests of your family or coworkers or other groups to which you might belong. If you learn how to argue effectively and persuasively, you will be able to overcome these obstacles and become a participating citizen in the global culture of argument. So, according to Middle School Debate, what makes a good argument? They break down an argument into three basic components: A, R, E, assertion, reasoning, and evidence. And for those of us English teachers that teach our students how to do response to literature essays, as we do at Hadley, this is very similar to the process we teach students in that case. The assertion is like the idea that the student comes up with. The reasoning is often the text evidence, or the reasoning is actually due to the text evidence that they've read, and then they are forced to interpret that text evidence and explain how it supports their idea. In this case, the students give an assertion in a debate, and that's just a statement of something that is so. They give then their reasoning, why the assertion is valid, and then they offer evidence, hopefully some proof, some data that proves that the reason that they gave is valid. Here's an example, a snippet from the Speaking and Listening handout from middlesschooldebate.com. teaching students how to use those components to make an argument on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side giving them an exemplar of how it might sound when they put it all together in the debate. From that same worksheet, they also give a 4-step process to refute someone else's argument, and that's on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, the exemplar refutation. Here's one of the graphic organizers I alluded to, the cost and benefits graphic organizer. Whatever action the students believe should be taken as part of their debate, they put that in the center of the page, and then they outline what the costs or possibly the detriments of that action are, and then on the right-hand side, the benefits. This helps them organize their thoughts and really look at an issue more holistically so they can ultimately come up with a balanced approach to the topic. This is one of the sample quick facts sheet, also available on middlesschooldebate.com. This fact sheet is on why cellular phones should be allowed in schools. What this does is it really gives students an overview of the topic, a quick fact set, some basic facts about the issue, some basic arguments in favor of the issue, and basic arguments opposing or against the issue. This is not intended to replace any research that the students do on their part, but rather give the students a starting place. Once they know this information, they have a better idea of what questions they should be asking or what they want to know more about, and that could lead them to further research. Now, what would I use for that further research? Well, this is where my library database subscriptions come into play. Our library at Hadley subscribes to Issues, Understanding Controversy and Society by the ABC CLIO, and this is what the mainframe looks like. Let me take you through a short tour of that site. Once you're logged in, Once you're logged in, if you hit the Issues button here, you will see that there are issues A to Z to be debated by students, everything from abortion to adoption to advertising. As we scroll down, drug abuse, eco-terrorism, and so on and so forth. So let's say that our students want to debate eating disorders. I'd select that topic. It's going to give me an overview of the topic, which actually, as I've read through some of these, they are in and of themselves kind of an argumentative essay showing you both sides balanced of an issue. In some cases they are anyway. After the overview, you can click on a current view and outlook of the topic, which basically gives you some of the most current information. Sometimes it gives you from various perspectives. This one doesn't seem to do that. Discussion gives you some questions that you should be asking of yourself or of your teammates in the debate in order to really get down to the heart of the issue. There are also articles then for you to read on the issue, and also some multimedia components. There may be videos or photographs or other things that the students can look at. If you look at the Analyze button instead of the issues, you can look at something like the death penalty, and the Analyze portion organizes the information around a key question, such as, is the death penalty constitutional, as we see here? And then it helps the students know, what is it that I need to know about the topic? What's the nitty-gritty there? What is the dilemma regarding the topic? And what do I need to investigate about the topic? Again, really giving them the background knowledge about the topic, the basics, so that they can guide themselves in their research without getting too far off on tangent. So once I have students do this research, I can assess them on research skills. When they do the debate, I can assess them on their speaking and listening skills. And then I have them take all of the information that they've learned and write their argumentative essay. They should be able to write a well-balanced essay because in their debate, I actually make them prepare as if they were to argue either side because what side they'll be arguing is determined by the flip of a coin. So at some point, they may have to argue for something, and the next day they may have to argue against the very same thing, and it may go against all of their personal beliefs, but they are prepared to argue either side, and then they can use that preparation to write a well-balanced argumentative essay. Thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful. If anyone needs to contact me and ask other questions, I can be reached at kcoleman@d41.org.